preachers that have it all. We're sitting here saying, see, you are too, Sharon. I know. I'm full. I do. It's like there never is one. I don't know. There's one, a home.
Good morning. Okay. Thank you.
What is the MCC church? Pardon me? Yes. Oh, okay. And Edwards Congregational is a UCC church.
No, I didn't really still in the car.
And your name?
Ready in a minute.
I like to number the pages in case. I think I'm going to mention that to Nicole. She could do that before she prints it. Well, my thing is in a binder because John told me about doing it that way, so I did that. But that would help.
I'm ready. Good morning. Welcome. My name is Tom Judas, and I use he, him pronouns. I serve this congregation as a member of the Leadership Development Committee and in many other ways. And I'm co-leading the worship service this morning as worship associate, and our reflection speaker today is Marcy Doyle. Welcome to our special place. At the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Quad Cities, we welcome all people into our beloved community of whatever age, race, class, or ethnicity. Physical ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or religious background. We welcome especially those joining us for the first time. We live stream our service on YouTube, and our recordings are then saved in the YouTube channel. If you don't want to appear in these recordings, you may sit under the owl's nest by the bookshelves. We invite everyone to join us downstairs after service for coffee, snacks, and conversation. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Gates. That was beautiful. Good morning. I am Marcy Doyle. I use she, her pronouns. And we open our service today with a land acknowledgement suggested by the American Civil Liberties Union of both Illinois and Iowa. We who live or work in Iowa acknowledge that we are on the traditional, ancestral, unceded land of the Iowa, Sauk, and Meskwaki peoples. We who live and work in Illinois do so on the traditional, ancestral, unceded homelands of the people of the Peoria, Kaskakia, Piankasha, Wea, Miami, Mascoutin, Odawa, Kickapoo, Potawatomi, Ojibwe, and Chickasaw nations, but especially also the Sauk and Meskwaki. We recognize them, the legacy of violence, settlement, and displacement these peoples suffered and survived. And we recognize the importance of reverting this common history of which we are all a part by supporting Indigenous communities' continued struggles for respect, self-determination, and sovereignty, and to right the historic wrongs of colonialism and state violence. We offer our respect to the elders of these peoples, both past and present, as well as future generations. Now we'll have our chalice lighting. As Tom lights our chalice, let's all recite the words from the memorial chalice lighting by Mira McHughes. I'm sorry, I have a feeling I have botched that name, but anyway. Thank you for the words. May today bring forth transformation in ourselves, from grief, healing, from memory, wholeness, and from celebration, love. And now we'll have our opening song.
Our opening hymn is 318, We Would Be One. It is in your hymnal, and as you know, it's also on the screen.
Please rise in body and spirit. Please remain standing.
Please remain standing as you greet one another in a spirit of love and fellowship.
Good morning. Would all the kids come up and sit, please? Sit. Sure. And now for this message from Gail.
Hi. To my friends sitting on the floor, do any of you know what this is?
Christmas tree. A dead Christmas tree.
All correct answers. Ezra, what do you think it is?
Volcano that's dressed like a Christmas.
Ezra is the closest. So to my adult friends, do we know what this is?
Yes.
Yes. So my class, the middle school class this year, we are going to collect hats, mittens, gloves, scarves, coats, new, gently used, and we will be donating them to the Early House. Is that what it's called? Marcy, is that what that's called?
Which one?
The Early House?
Are you talking about over in
Allen, yes.
Allen's house?
Yes, Allen's house. So we're going to be donating them to them. And if they're not accepting them, I will find somebody else here that will be accepting them. Now we're going to start it a little early this year because times are tough, you know? And I don't know about any of you, but I've seen a lot of homeless people in this area, including children. So this will be out front. If you have things that you want to donate, we will also accept adult things. If you have an old coat that you don't wear anymore that's gently used, we will accept that as well. Just see me. So I'm going to go put this out front and leave you alone. Oh, I'm going to fix the scarf.
Thank you, Gail. All right, so this month, what is our theme? Gratitude. Good. So our theme this month is gratitude. And what holiday is in a couple of weeks? What's Thanksgiving? Oh my goodness, we're skipping I guess we're skipping Thanksgiving now. How many people have seen houses already decorated for Christmas? Yeah. So, as part of Thanksgiving, we get together with our families or our friends and we show gratitude for one another, right? So we're going to do a little activity, and everybody can participate in this activity. So we're going to do a gratitude exercise. So I'm going to say something that I am grateful for in my friends. And I want, if that is something that you do or you are also grateful for, raise your hand. And we're going to look around the room and find somebody that you have that in common with. And then my challenge for you is during coffee hour today is talk to somebody that you don't yet know that you have something in common with. So I am grateful for my friends who like to sing. Does everyone look around? I am grateful for my friends who like to bake. Oh. I am grateful for my friends who like to play board games. Remember, if you'd like to play board games, you can come to game night on Fridays. Or it's every other Friday. Look in the newsletter. Every other Friday. I'm grateful for my friends who like to knit or crochet. I am grateful for my friends who believe in social justice. I'm grateful for my friends who like to run or go to the gym. Yeah. I am grateful for my friends who like to dance. I need help thinking of something else. Who wants to help me? Come on, come on.
I am grateful for the friends that like to run and play.
Oh, Kailani's grateful for friends who like to run and play. Good job. Yes.
I'm grateful for people who love animals.
Raise your hand if you love animals. All right, one more from my friends down here. Okay, Kaylee.
I'm grateful for pizza.
All right, and on that note, let's go downstairs, friends.
Good morning. I'm Maureen Bennett, a member of the Pastoral Care Team. As we gather today, we pause to reflect on what lies in our hearts. In this time of sharing, we take a moment to recognize our personal joys and sorrows, and to read from the book of Joys and Sorrows, those personal events that you have chosen to share with us. For joys, Marcy says, wrong. I'll get this right yet. Lori McCullum thanks all the organizers and the workers from the vendor fair yesterday. It must have been quite an event. Alice Taylor also says a huge thank you to all who helped with the bake sale yesterday. And Diane Anderson echoes, I second Lori and Alice. Thanks to everyone for all your help and attendance. Kaylani Nichols says she's joyful that they're having visitors come today over. Are there any online joys or sorrows, please?
No, there is none.
Okay. For sorrows, Marcy said, my son David needs all the good vibes and prayers that you can muster. Lori McCollum offers a celebration of life service for Stephen Day is this afternoon, with visitation starting at 1:30 and the service at 3:30 with a reception following in the social hall rather. We are all welcome as we celebrate the life of Stephen and mourn with the Day family his passing. I offer a sorrow that my 54-year-old nephew Kenny suffered a stroke last week, and he's currently in a rehab facility in Chicago, hoping for a good recovery. For all that we have shared and for what remains in the quiet sanctuary of our hearts, we are grateful. Let us become aware of the energy that brings us together in this beloved community as we share a time of silent meditation. May we open our minds and our hearts to a quiet place, to a silent prayer of healing and the comfort of love. You are invited to come forward and light a candle during the musical meditation that follows.
This congregation is a theologically diverse religious community with membership open to all who are in accord with our values, mission, and vision. Our congregation is entirely self-governed by the democratic process. One of the privileges of a free church tradition is to provide all of the financial support for our many ministries from among ourselves. Generosity, therefore, is one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and institutional well-being. This month's undesignated plate offering will go towards the American Indian College Fund, in existence since 1989 and approved by charity watchdogs. Donations to the American Indian College Fund provides holistic support to students, including scholarships, career programs, child care, and rent support. Scholarships support Native American students attending tribal colleges and universities and other accredited institutions. We invite you now to participate in the blessing of giving as the ushers come among you to accept the gifts of the congregation. Please be as generous as you are able. Thank you. For all of the gifts of time and treasure that you give to this congregation, with sincere gratitude, we say thank you. A reading prior to our reflection. These words from Native Americans in Massachusetts have been inscribed on a rock on Coal Hill in Plymouth, near the Plymouth Plantation. Thanksgiving Day is a reminder of the genocide of millions of Native peoples, the theft of Natives' lands, and the relentless assault on Native culture. Participants in the National Day of Mourning honor Native ancestors and the struggles of Native people to survive today. It is a day of remembrance and spiritual connection, as well as the protest of racism and oppression which Native Americans continue to experience.
Good morning again. My name is Marcy Doyle, and as I said, I use she, her pronouns. In past lives here in the congregation, I served on the Board of Trustees and Leadership Development Committees under, Leadership Development Committee was under a different name. I also work with the AV tech team up in the loft and have dabbled in working with the children of the congregation. I think I've been a member for around 20 years, and that is my UU pedigree. Before that, I was raised Roman Catholic and became American Baptist and United Church of Christ in a dually aligned church in New York City. So I've been around, not to mention my husband was an American Baptist clergyman. So I have been around the block a bit. Luckily, this place has opened my eyes to many new things, sometimes reluctantly. I had a hard transition from the principles to the values, but today we will be stressing justice and maybe transformation. Just for the record, before I really get started, I am not an academic or Native American scholar. I am just a layperson on a journey that I wish to share with you. My Halloween decorations outside the house and inside were good this year, even if I say so myself. But a few days before Halloween, I began thinking about what I would decorate for Thanksgiving. And as you know, I have a 6th grader living with me, and he has been with me since kindergarten. And I am into decorating. Inside, I have some cute little wooden pumpkins out for Halloween that I normally leave out for Thanksgiving as well. But I also have cute small wooden statues right here of pilgrims, and I have used these every year since I acquired them. And this year, I just don't feel like I can. And I wish the children were here to see me do this, but I missed that. So what happened? That's how I feel about them right now, yeah. So what happened? How did I get to this place where I need to correct my thinking about Thanksgiving? I was brought up mostly in Virginia and Massachusetts. I thought the stories of Roanoke and Jamestown were very romantic. My summers were often spent 2 towns away from Plymouth. One of my cousins was actually married at Plymouth Plantation. I am related by marriage to a descendant of the Mayflower. So as a child and young adult, I also found the story of the Pilgrim to be romantic. Then there was television, Wagon Train, Princess Summer, Fall, Winter, Spring, and The Lone Ranger and Tonto. Then there was the myth of Christopher Columbus discovering America. October 13th has since been designated Indigenous Peoples Day by many states and sometimes the federal government, although I believe they neglected to do that this year. Anyway, I have been vaguely aware of the miserable facts of our history with Native Americans since adulthood. I read Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, saw the movie Little Big Man, read William Kent Kruger's and Tony Hillerman's mysteries and books by Louise Erdrich and others. I'm a librarian, so I would go on about books, but I'm not going to. I learned about Andrew Jackson and the Trail of Tears in high school, but it didn't really take. As an adult, I learned about European policies that encouraged explorers and settlers to take over lands and displace people who were there before. And this continued with the Manifest Destiny policy that encouraged Western movement and settlement always displacing the peoples already there. Here, for many years to me, this was just sad truths about the past. What could be done? However, it really began to hit home how our European ancestors started the genocide of the indigenous peoples of this land was when I moved here to the QCA about 23 years ago. At that time, I was a librarian looking for a job, and I decided I needed to know more about this place and read some history. So I learned about the removal of the Meskwaki and the Sauk peoples from this land, and then the warrior Black Hawk's attempt to get it back, which ended in tragedy. He was soundly defeated, his band decimated. Very few of them survived, and yet Black Hawk's name is everywhere. Everywhere. I found this shocking. As Thanksgiving drew closer, I felt I needed to counter the myth of the first Thanksgiving, at least here in our congregation. I realize that to a degree I am probably preaching to the choir. I know you all know this already. But this is what I want to do. Give a fairly accurate history of the Meskwaki and Sauk in our area, and then see if there's anything we can do to create some justice. And we started by including a land acknowledgement as our first reading. There was a period of time here when a land acknowledgement was included at the beginning of every service. It was discontinued, and I'm not sure exactly why, but there is some discussion out in the world, and I don't know about discussion here at UUCQC, as to whether it is appropriate to have a land acknowledgement without any other action. Some argue that the land acknowledgement alone was giving lip service to a continuing wound. So I want to encourage us to do something more. The first something is to learn about the history here in the QCA. The Meskwaki and Sauk are two distinct tribes with separate cultures and traditions. However, they have been intertwined for some time. The Hoberg Museum in Black Hawk State Park in Rock Island preserves the history of their being driven west from the forest lands of Canada and New York State to Wisconsin, and then landed here in 1731 until they were forced out after the Treaty of 1804 was ratified by Congress. I found it interesting that in Wisconsin, the Sauk people banded together with the Meskwaki to fight the other Native American tribes and settlers, and then they all migrated here to the Quad Cities where they set up encampments. The village of Saukanook was estimated to have a population of 4,000 people, and Black Hawk describes it this way. Our village was situated on the north side of Rock River at the foot of its rapids, on the point of land between Rock River and the Mississippi. The land around our village, uncultivated, was covered with bluegrass, which made excellent pasture for our horses. Several fine springs broke out of the bluff nearby, from which we were supplied with good water. The rapids of Rock River furnished us with an abundance of excellent fish, and the land, being good, never failed to produce good crops of corn, beans, pumpkins, and squashes. We always had plenty. Our children never cried with hunger, nor our people were ever in want. Here, our village had stood for more than 100 years. Going on. Now it's me speaking. The Meskwaki village was much smaller but close to Saukanook. They stayed and thrived for several generations. The warrior Black Hawk was born here to the Thunder Clan. His father was a medicine man. Black Hawk eventually became warrior and war captain, leading other men on raids. And after the removal of the Sauk and Meskwaki people to Kansas, he led around 200 men in what has become known as the Black Hawk War. As stated before, this ended in tragedy for the men and women who followed him. The survivors then were taken in by the Meskwaki. In the meantime, after the removal, some Meskwaki managed to stay in Iowa, and then some migrated back. Eventually, they bought land near Tama, and this has become the Meskwaki settlement, and it has grown over the years to 8,100 acres. They are a federally recognized tribe and have their own government. I believe this is the only such settlement in the United States, as all others are reservations, which means land set aside for particular Native American tribes, but they do not own that land and reside at the pleasure of the U.S. government. Back to Black Hawk. He was clearly a great warrior who was defeated, and he cared deeply for his people and rallied against the injustices. But he was also known as a kind man who was married for 40 years to the same woman, Singing Bird. They had 5 children, 3 survived into adulthood. So now I am considering why so many roads, organizations, and places are named after him. Was this just co-opting? But I have come to believe now that at its best, it is honoring a great man who was born here, and it acts as a reminder for those who care to know what came before our civilization grew up here. There have been many injustices and travesties done to the original inhabitants of our country, beginning with the bringing of disease, which wiped out whole villages after the first explorers made contact. You have undoubtedly heard of Squanto. The Indian who helped the Pilgrims learn to plant corn and squash and hunt for their survival. He had been kidnapped and taken to Europe, not once, but twice, and found his way back to Massachusetts to find his whole village wiped out. It has been said that he befriended the Pilgrims because he had no one else. Then, of course, there was King Philip's War. This was the war between the settlers of Massachusetts and the Native Americans that still inhabited the land. They were fighting over the land. And then the Indian Removal Act, 1804, under Andrew Jackson, that led to the Trail of Tears, which happened to be, they talk about one Trail of Tears, but actually there were many after that. Just for the record, wanted you to hear this too, because it really got me. Davy Crockett, who I think of as a mythical figure, was actually a person in Congress at the time and voted against the Indian Removal Act, the 1804 Act. And Chief Justice Marshall, who was in the Supreme Court at the time, and the Supreme Court ruled against it. But the federal government ignored the Supreme Court ruling and went ahead with the ethnic cleansing action. Then there was the attempt to eradicate Native culture by removing children from their families and placing them in schools where they were not allowed to speak their first language or follow their Native rituals or have any contact with their families. More recently, I think we probably are all aware of the fact that Native American women have more of a tendency to disappear and be murdered than maybe the average women. So because of these and many other injustices, Native Americans in Massachusetts and around the country consider Thanksgiving Day a day of mourning. They are mourning for their lost way of life and many ancestors along the way. I have read some Native Americans gather together on Thanksgiving to remember and mourn. Some just hold it as a day for family. And many of us do that, and that is as it should be. So where do we go from here? I am reminded of the many contributions Native Americans have made to us in our country. First, of course, the teaching the Pilgrims survival skills. Native Americans have proved to be patriotic by fighting for this country in every war since the Revolution. And they were not even bestowed citizenship in this country until 1950. They have made contributions in the fields of transportation, such as the kayak, sports, lacrosse, game, medicine. It turns out willow bark was a precursor to aspirin. And communication, I think we all have heard of the code talkers in World War II. I could go on. More recently, Native Americans at Standing Rock, I think it was, have led the charge against the pipeline that Cindy spoke to us about last week. Several of our congregants were involved with demonstrations in Upper Iowa over that. Soon, I want to say we will be closing with a prayer that is a Native American prayer developed for the Day of Truth and Reconciliation. This was originally begun in Canada for September 30th each year, and now in the U.S. is October 1st, Orange Shirt Day. This prayer has many elements that I think we can appreciate and agree with, and it includes a call to action. This was originally especially remembering the children that were removed from their families. Where does the UU stand on this organization, as an organization? I found in a UU reflection on Indigenous peoples a call for commitment to land acknowledgement and education and awareness. We are called also to support Indigenous rights and sovereignty. These are just the beginning. Also, I was fortunate enough to be directed to a message delivered by Reverend Dr. Oscar Sinclair. He's the senior minister of Unity Church, Unitarian up in St. Paul, Minnesota. In his message on reparations as repair, he said several things I find relevant and want to share. Their congregation has given a significant amount of money to the St. Paul Reparations Commission. Minnesota is the home of the Dakota removal and the Dakota 38 who were executed via order of Abraham Lincoln as a result of the Dakota War. But Reverend Sinclair said that their monetary contribution was not enough. And he talked about stumbling blocks to doing more, such as attitudes that these injustices and tragedies were all in the past, such as what mine was originally, over and done with, or I wasn't there, why should I be bothered with it now, or shouldn't we be working on other more important issues? And my feeling is that most issues are interrelated these days, so that's not a good attitude. My response is that injustices continue, and we really should be doing something. Reverend Sinclair did not give specific suggestions. I think we have to come up with our own. So now I get to what actions I think we as individuals and a congregation might take. Please know I shall list some things, but I am sure there are others. This is just what I have managed to come up with lately. First of all, visit the John Hoberg Museum in Blackhawk State Park in Rock Island if you haven't been there already, or even go back if you have, because there's a lot there in this very small museum. It has very accurate as well as entertaining information. Next, I would suggest that we visit a powwow. There are many in Illinois, and at least one intertribal powwow sponsored by Midwest Soaring Foundation, Soarring Foundation. Their website makes it clear that all are invited and gives etiquette suggestions for attendees. The Meskwaki tribe has an annual powwow the second full weekend in August. Tama is about 2 hours from here. It's not bad. The tribe also has, just so you know, Red Earth Gardens, an organic farm, and they sell produce online and at their farmers market during summer months. There is reading we can do, and you know, as a librarian, I can't help it. It was suggested to me, though, I'm only mentioning two things, really. It was suggested to me, probably by Gates, I think, that I read Black Hawk, an autobiography, which I have partially done now. And recently, John DeTay was here a couple of weeks ago, suggested to us all that we read We Survived the End of the World, Lessons from Native America on the Apocalypse and Hope by Stephen Charleston. And my plan is to read that for sure. I've done part of it. For years, I have enjoyed listening. Then some other things. I mean, they have contributed to arts and many other areas in our country. And one of the things I love dearly is music, flute music by Carlos Nakai. And there is also a Meskwaki. There's a lot of Indian Native American poets, but there actually is one out in Tama named, let me see, where is his name? I put it on here somewhere. Ray A. Young Bear. And his books can be gotten from the library. Maybe we could start, more importantly, really. Maybe we can start a racial justice team here that struggles with our relationships with our past with Indigenous people and African Americans and other marginalized groups. You may have noticed that Share the Plate for this month is American Indian College Fund. This was selected because November has been designated National Native American Heritage Month and because the Meskwaki Nation directs its young people ready for higher education first to them for scholarships and then to many other sources as well. Their motto is, education is the answer. And I believe that is true and thus wish us to educate ourselves about Native American cultures, especially that of the Sauk and Meskwaki. Of course, I worry about the danger of appropriation. That was my first concern about Black Hawk's name being everywhere. But education leads to appreciation. Appreciation and respect is what the Native Americans among us deserve at the very least. If you have other ideas or would like to work as a racial justice subgroup, please let me know. And thank you for listening today. And next we have something else. The closing song. Please rise in body or spirit for our closing song. Number 323 in the, must be the old gray hymnal.
I'll play this through once.
You may be seated. We have a few announcement items. Please join us for a special town hall after the service on November 23rd in the lounge. We will have a special guest from The Project for a 1-hour ally training to refresh our commitment towards being a welcoming and affirming to the LGBTQ community. This is a welcoming congregation recognized by UUA, and this is a worthwhile project that directly relates to our being a welcoming community. The training is also a step toward our application for being included on the Quad Centennials, pardon me for mispronouncing that, Affirming Diversity Safe Connect directory of welcoming and affirming congregations. Please notify Laura Nichols if you need childcare scheduled for November the 23rd. Come Here, Iowa's water experts present current findings about our state's water quality Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the, I'm not familiar with this. Ruskal Center. If you were interested in helping the community's soup supper sponsored by One Human Family at the Metro Community Church on 11/22 from 12 to 2 p.m., call Rick Hendricks at the Metropolitan Church. It's also a time to think about the General Assembly for Unitarian Universalist Association. It is often out of reach financially and a geographic challenge. In past years, it has been in Portland, Oregon. It's been in Baltimore this past summer. This summer, it is going to be virtual and available to everyone, everywhere. It's going to be broken to parts as well. So if you wish to be a delegate, you can inform board members of that. And you can be involved in the general sessions that focus on the business of the association. That's June the 14th through the 16th. The midweek, which is Wednesday and Thursday, is a time when there's no special programs. But then on the weekend, Friday through Sunday, June 19th through 21st, there will be in-person, online availabilities. More about this will be coming forward in our newsletter, and as we learn the price of this, we will invite participation. And I am meeting with Lori and with our pastor to determine how we can make these events available to you here at the church. Another announcement, you were invited to attend the 82nd Annual Joint Thanksgiving Service next Sunday evening at 5 p.m. This year hosted by the Metropolitan Community Church on West Locust Street in Davenport. For 82 years, UUQC, Temple Emmanuel, and Edwards Congregational Church, UCC, have celebrated their joint friendship and collaboration at this Thanksgiving gathering. Please plan to attend and contact John DeGreve if you have questions. We also have, as usual, announcements that are a part of the service that you've received, so please review those as well. And if you're online, you can also go to our website to get information that may be of interest to you.
Now we'll extinguish the chalice. Please rise in body or in spirit as Tom actually extinguishes the chalice. Let us join together in reading the unison reading which appears in your order of service and on the display. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Closing words. Our closing words come from the Day of Truth and Reconciliation, the Canadian Day of Remembrance. On this Day of Truth and Reconciliation, we pause, we listen, we remember across this land The dawn rises over rivers that once carried children away from their homes. Mist lifts from the lakes where grandmothers once sang lullabies, now lost to silence. Cedars still hold the breath of prayers whispered in secret. Stones still hold the weight of small bodies never returned. The earth remembers, the wind remembers. May the rivers teach us how to move forward. May the trees teach us how to stand. May the stones teach us how to endure. May the fire teach us how to transform. Today is a day of mourning, but also a day of promise. A promise that we will not turn away, that we will carry these truths in our bodies like medicine, that we will walk slowly together on the path that leads home for the children, for the ancestors, for all of us. Go in peace. Please remain seated for the postlude.